Teron Watson and Nelson County will have to hit the road. They'll take on Central after the loss against Floyd County. I talked with the head coach of the Governors for his thoughts. We talked about Bryce Giles and more on the Sports Buffet podcast.
Nelson County does not get the regional title, but they're still playing basketball. Talking to the head coach of the Governors, Teron Watson. For people who may not have been in Franklin County to see the regional final, kind of take me through and describe what happened with Floyd County.
It was back and forth. It was a really good game by two really good teams. Floyd County made more plays than we did, especially in the second half. I think we started off pretty strong in that first quarter and kind of got a little bit content after that. And, shots weren't falling as much in the second half, and they were making the right plays and knocking down some shots that kind of gave them that win, or that gave them that edge, or that gave them that separation at the end.
Not to take anything away from them, because it sounds like they played a really good game. How much of it is you can't not get content at this point in the season and expect good things to happen?
I say it's a little bit of both. I mean, obviously they had a really good scheme. They went a little bit of triangle 2 and some 1-3-1. They kind of threw us off a little bit. They really crowded Ward and Bryce. It made it difficult to get them the ball. And right then, we got other guys that got to come in and knock down some shots, and we got to do a better job at executing some sets just to free those guys up and put them in positions to be successful, so we can be successful.
Right, and I guess my question was, did you want your guys to learn the fact that they cannot be content right now, or do you think that was a problem?
Yeah, I wouldn't say it was a problem. Obviously, making it to the region championship guarantees that state title. I mean, that state tournament appearance.
Right.
So it's a little bit of a relief to a sense. So I think, we were a little bit relieved, and I wouldn't say we were kind of complacent, because we came up kind of fired up, but we just lost that edge throughout the game, and we got to, like you said, I got to make sure they're able to maintain that edge and not be, complacent or content with that.
With all due respect, I think everybody knew how good Colton was, but if you were just seeing Bryce right now for the first time, he has really, really improved his game in my eyes. What makes Bryce so good in your eyes?
He's just an all-around player. He's a great leader. First and foremost, he's a great leader. He's vocal, and the team really thrives off his leadership. I think one thing that he done this year that he didn't do as much last year is he took a little bit more command at handling the ball for us a little bit, kind of relieving some pressure from Aiden. So, he was able to, play on the perimeter some, and then go down to the block and, still handle his business down there. And it's been beneficial for us, because where we lacked that, he really stepped up big time. Where we felt like we might have had some huge voids to fill, he helped fill those voids. So again, he's a great player, and if anyone's seen him for the first time but didn't know his ability, I know they were kind of shocked to see someone at that size being able to be that elusive and maneuver and have that footwork.
Well, I hadn't seen him since Gretna of last year, and then I saw him against Liberty, and it looked like two different guys, because I think the knock on Bryce is he's heavier, and it's hard for him to have a place, but gosh, his shots were dynamic, I felt like.
Yeah, he has a really good touch on his shot. I mean, fundamentally sound. He's probably one of the most fundamental players that I've probably ever coached, as well as one of the most fundamentally sound players on the team.
And I say this with all due respect, is Bryce harder to coach in the fact of, if you put him on the best guy offensively, then you're maybe taking away a little bit of his offense too, because he's going to have to expel more energy. Does that make it a tough decision for you sometimes?
So early on in the season, it was tough for him, but he's been able to adjust really well. We had him on Cam Tucker, who was a first-team All-Dogwood District player from Chatham. We had him on Jamarion Davis, who was, I think, third or fourth in the district in voting. So early on, he was assigned those tasks, and offensively, it was a little bit of a dip in his production. But game 3, game 4, game 5, his production started to go up, as well as him still being maintained that on the defensive side. So he's been good.
These are my words, not yours right now. There is no good road game for Nelson County just because you're not close to anything. And you can
Correct.
argue that's a great home court advantage too, but you've got to go on the road, a long ways to play Central. What stands out to you about them, first off?
Well, they have two really good guards who can really get it done. Got to see them at Floyd County, so it was good that we were able to get that matchup. And now look at us being matched up in the state quarterfinals. So they have two really good guards that can flat out score at all three levels. They really have really good mid-range shooting ability, able to pull up and rise and shoot over top of teams. And they've been probably about 60% or maybe even 80% of their offensive scoring for the entire year. So guarding those two is going to be a tough task for us. But being the fact that we were able to see them early on in the season kind of helps us, kind of prepare for them.
Tell me how you spend the road game successfully to your guys.
So it's just all about, having a confidence on that road. So we played a schedule where, in the beginning, 14 of our 23 games that we scheduled were on the road. We were able to play, I want to say we played 22 regular season games. I think, yeah. So 13 of them were on the road, and we had a stretch where we played our first game at home, and then like the next 9 were on the road. So being able to win on the road is really important. Being able to it's important for multiple reasons. Obviously, it helps us with building our confidence and stuff like that. But it gives us the belief that we can go on the road later on in the playoffs and go win a game. And we just got to be road warriors, And that's what I'm preaching to the guys. One game at a time. It is what it is. This is the route that God made for us. So if it's for us to go on the road and go out there and make history, then that's what we have to do.
What's the biggest thing that has you concerned about the game on Tuesday?
Just they're two guards. They get to the free throw line frequently, probably just as much as Aiden Padgett does, but they're both getting there versus just Aiden Padgett getting there. So that could cause some issues, maybe get us in foul trouble early on. So we got to make sure that we don't get caught reaching or having any cheap fouls. Staying vertical and just contesting shots without fouling.
Coach, I appreciate your time.
Thank you.